one. And joining us now on Drive the Lane, making his second appearance, Coach Chris Holtmann. Coach, welcome back to the show.
It's great to be with you guys. Enjoy the show. I always enjoy the show when it comes up, and it's great to be with you guys here for a second time. And it's always great to see our guy JL here. So,
Coach, I don't know if you know this, but this is a year ago today was the first time you were on the podcast. So, it's all calculated that we would have you on 365 days later.
Well, listen, a lot's happened in that 365, hasn't it? All world has completely changed. I didn't know that. I didn't realize that when you texted me. But, we had talked a couple months ago, and I said, let's do something here closer to the season. So, yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. But like I said, I love being with you guys. I love talking Buckeye hoops and Buckeye stuff in general.
Well, that's a great segue. We appreciate that. Segue to my first question. We would love for you to just take us through the crazy, off season from cancellation of Big Ten tournament to now.
Yeah, you know what? It's seeming a little more distant with each passing day, but it was disappointing, I think, for all of us, and I think we were all kind of wondering, what is this, and what is this that's taken over our world, and what is COVID, and how dangerous is it, and so. I think, you're immediately going to your players. Obviously, we knew we were going to be in the NCAA tournament and we were going to have a pretty high seed, and we knew we were playing really well. So to have that opportunity kind of taken from, our seniors, and we also knew Caleb, it was going to be his in all likelihood last few moments with us. So, that was disappointing, but at that time, your mind is, about so much bigger things than the cancellation of the tournament. So these last few months, it's been a lot of kind of reflecting on what's important and what really matters. I think we've all done that, and now we're back at it. We're back at it. Preparation for the upcoming season.
And we don't want to, talk too much about the past, obviously, because we're all moved on to looking at the future, which is the upcoming basketball season. And before we dive into, everything about this team and the schedule and everything crazy about this specific year, you mentioned Caleb. We talked a lot about Caleb on last week's episode and where we thought he would end up, whether drafted or undrafted. Just want to hear your thoughts on, his process. Obviously, he has a unique journey now to the NBA, having going undrafted. Just want to hear your thoughts before we dive into to this year's team.
There's no doubt in my mind Caleb Wesson can and will help an NBA organization. I have no doubt. He's a tremendous worker. He's the best shooting big in the NBA draft. He is an elite rebounder, has tremendous hands, great skill. He's improved every year. His fitness is in his conditioning. As the both of you guys know, and Joey, firsthand, he's improved in that area. I understand all the questions about how the game has changed, and there's not centers in basketball anymore, and there's not power forwards in basketball. But when I've talked to NBA people about Caleb, I've said, listen, everybody tells me they're looking for, does this prospect have an NBA skill? He does. He has elite touch, terrific range. I think he's going to find a good situation. Listen, the idea right now that you have to be drafted is not entirely accurate, especially this year. I think it's about finding the right organization and then working your way through that organization. And I believe that he's in a good place right now in terms of finding the right spot. And Andre, his brother, is going to find a good situation with the organization as well and work his way through a G League, I think, contract. So we're excited about Andre as well.
There now may be an NBA team that fills a hole that they have with Caleb, but that leaves a big hole on your team.
Yeah.
So obviously there's some scoring, rebounding, defense, everything, lost from last year's team. So who are you looking to kind of lean on to really pick up the slack that you're losing from Caleb, being in the NBA now?
I think it's going to be a collective situation. I really do. And I don't know right now if I could tell you I know as of now who all is going to be in that collective group. I mean, I believe, Kyle and EJ. After that, we're trying to figure it out to a certain degree. We've got to be a better rebounding team with the absence of his nearly 10 rebounds a game. We got to get to the free throw line with the absence of his free throw rate. And we got to find ways to attack that are different than what we did last year. So obviously that was a huge, we've got things we've got to figure out, as is the case with Andre graduating. Andre got better every year, as we all know that. He got better every year. Both guys were extremely well coached in high school. They get better every year. Andre had a terrific, efficient year for us. So, we've got to figure some things out. We have a game on Wednesday that is against a really good team in a terrific league. So we're going to kind of get thrown into the fire right away and figuring some of these things out.
Now, you mentioned you guys, obviously you're playing on Wednesday. It's been described by a billion different people as the craziest preseason trying to schedule games, whatever it's been. Can you give us an inside look at what it's been, at least on your plate, to try and piece together this season?
We got a call today, guys, from a top 10 team, and they said, hey, this is now, I'll let you describe when this was a couple days out, right, from Wednesday, or I don't know if that's okay to say or not. I don't know how all these things work.
Say whatever. You just say it. We'll piece it for you.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm just a coach. Well, we got a call today about playing a game, top 10, and we thought, okay, can we do it? We can't. Our schedule's full. Now, will something like that happen again in a couple weeks to a month? I think it's very possible, guys, that we could be in a situation where we could say, hey, it's Wednesday, and on Friday we're going to fly and play here against this program.
It's crazy, and I don't know what's going to end up happening with, Big Ten tournament, March Madness, any of that stuff. In football, they're saying everyone's eligible for bowl games, so who knows what they're going to kind of do about the tournament. But I'm curious, players-wise, and Joey will tell you this about me. I'm the biggest Dwayne Washington fan in the entire world. Like, number one, if we weren't so, close with the team, it'd be a little weird. But my question, Dwayne kind of has this thing, and he did it a lot last year, where he gets really hot right away, and then either because it's not needed or just because it's not part of the offensive plan, it's not sustained throughout the whole game. I'm curious if that's something that, has been discussed, or if that's something that, as a coach, you're like, we need to run plays for him, run sets for him from opening tip to final buzzer.
Well, I think it's a good observation about Dwayne. I think some of that too is youth, and naturally what happens with young players too. And Dwayne can be a little bit streaky, and I think we've looked at some things where we can utilize him a little bit more consistently. I think for Dwayne, it's always about his 2-point efficiency, because we know he's a terrific shooter. His 2-point efficiency, his decision-making, and then he impacting the game on both ends. For him to be the kind of player he wants to be, I think that's the next step for him. And I love coaching him. We love coaching him. And he's got the ability, as you guys know, to go and get you 18 against a really good team on a given night. He can score it in a variety of ways. So I do think there's some validity to what you're saying that we've looked at. How can we help that process, him be a little more consistent throughout the game? I think some of that is some things we have to do. And then some of that too is he's some of the streakiness that comes from being young. His usage rate was very high. It was actually the second highest on our team last year. So that'll continue to be the case for sure.
So, Coach, Andrew loves Dwayne, and as you know, I'm a gigantic C.J. Walker fan and have been since he got here, and I look at him as, like any point guard on any team, one of, if not the most important players on the team. Can you tell us a little bit about his development, his leadership, and him going into his last go around?
Well, I said I love coaching Dwayne. I love coaching CJ. I love those guys. And CJ, as you know, kind of embodies what we want. He understands winning. He's about winning. He's won everywhere he's been. I think he's growing parts of his game. I'll roll with him at the point guard over anybody else in the country. Anybody else. Like, I'll roll with that guy. And I just believe in him and Dwayne at the highest level. It's why we looked, we didn't add a couple graduate transfers. We had a Jimmy who we thought was going to sit out, Abel who we kind of brought in initially as a 15-minute guy because we believe in those guys in the backcourt spot. Obviously, things have changed with Abel's heart condition, but big time believer. I'm with you, Joey, on him. I'm with both of you guys on both those guys. They need to have step forward type years for us. They really need to have that. If not, we'll be a different team than what we hope to be.
So something that we don't really understand, and if you don't understand it, then no one does. So CJ, Jimmy, other seniors, they can play again next year, right?
Yeah. Well, Jimmy will. Yeah, Jimmy will. Jimmy will be back next year. Kyle Young could as well. So what don't you understand about that?
Well, now I got it. We were just confused too because Joey said, CJ's last go around. I was confused what the cutoff is with who actually gets the additional year of eligibility. Is someone who's in there, not on your team, but if there's someone on another team that's already in a 6th year due to injury, are they someone that could get a 7th year? I'm just curious what the blanket rule is.
It's everybody. Yeah, I mean, everybody gets an extra year. Joey would love this right now. Everybody gets an extra year. So it's really interesting. Now, not everybody, as we know in college, will stick around for an extra year. Some, they want to move on to situations where maybe they can begin their professional career. Some will, some won't. It'll be a decision that we'll wait to have in the off season. But really, the two guys that are in that boat for us are really CJ and Kyle.
We got to talk Kyle because obviously we love Kyle, but that every year Ohio State has had a guy that they're like, how in the world is this guy still in college? Obviously, that's Kyle this year. If he stays again next year, it is unprecedented levels of this dude's got to be 35 years old.
Yeah, he'll fit that description. He does, doesn't he? He fits that description. I don't know why. Maybe it's just his unique style of play. People are naturally kind of drawn to him.
Yeah.
So when you saw him as a freshman, even though he didn't play a ton as a freshman, as you know, Joey. He played a little bit, but not a ton. But I just think people naturally are attracted to how he plays and the passion he plays with, so that he was on their radar at an early age. But, yeah, he'll be one of those guys where you'll say, we had a guy at Butler, Roosevelt Jones, and people were like,
exactly.
You got to be kidding me. He's still at Butler. Yeah, there's guys like that.
It's always the guys who play super, super hard. I mean, you think of like Aaron Kraft.
Yes.
It's the same kind of deal. And it's just so funny because it sure seems like it's Ohio State guys most of the time. I mean, it went from Kraft to Mark Loving maybe doesn't fit in the hard playing sense, but we don't need to get into that. But Mark, everyone was like, how is this guy still in college? And then even like when I was there, I remember going on the road and fans would say, hey, have you been here for 4 years? And I'm like, yeah, this is my last year. Yeah. So it seems like there's always a Buckeye that, and it's just mind boggling that Kyle Young might be there for 9 years now, but it's awesome. I mean, we love Kyle.
That's saying something that people said that about you coming from your spot. That's an impressive influence on Big Ten and college basketball in general for people to say that.
That's a nice way of phrasing it. It was more like people were sick of this guy who's like, I could be doing what he's doing. Why does he get to stay for 4 years? That's not fair.
Yeah.
Now they say you're still doing that podcast. Hasn't the Joey Lane effect worn off by now?
Yeah, that's right.
Coach, you mentioned Butler. We'll talk a little bit more about this season. This is going way down to the end of the season. There's rumblings going around that the whole NCAA tournament could be at different, locations within Indy. how cool would it be to have, a couple games on Butler's court in the tournament?
I had somebody ask me that right about when that news came down about, hey, what do you think about going back and playing an NCAA tournament game in Hinkle? And I said, listen, in a year like this, it would be a blessing beyond, I don't even want to think that far ahead, but it would be an unbelievable blessing to be able to play in a great city and to play in a great tournament. That's the case every year. To be able to do it in a place like Hinkle, as you guys know, it's a basketball cathedral. It is one of the, I'm partial to it. I think it's one of the best basketball venues in all of college basketball. I love our fans here. I think we got really smart fans here at Ohio State. I really do. And I feel the same way about Butler. I think both fan bases are smart. Like, they know hoops. And some think they know a little bit more than maybe what they do, but they know hoops and they care about hoops. We obviously care about football, but they care about hoops. I love our fans here, and I loved our fans at Butler.
Well, how about a Gardner-Webb versus Ohio State at Hinkle game? That's the Holtmann trifecta right there.
Yeah. No, that's all we need is like the Taylor band, and we'd be in great shape right there. We'd have every part of my life represented, which really no one wants to see. Although I love all those schools and am indebted to all those schools, to be honest with you. But yeah, that would be a lot of fun. Who knows? It'll be interesting to see what this looks like at the end of the year, guys. Right? Who knows what this will look like?
So obviously, it'd be very 2020 for you to be playing at Butler against Gardner-Webb. It'd be very 2020. But we can move on to that, and we'll talk more in the short term and less. Because that's our job to worry about the NCAA tournament. You worry about Illinois State on Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm worried about practice tomorrow.
Exactly. Exactly. But we got to talk Jimmy Sotos because, as you know, I grew up 20 minutes from Jimmy. Me and his brother we're old buddies who we played hoops growing up together. Did the factor to bring him in have anything to do? Was this an oversight that I gave him the business my senior year of high school, Jimmy, and he didn't play very well when we played them in high school? Was that an oversight?
Somehow Jimmy hadn't brought that up. In the recruiting process, he did not bring that up. But I'll be sure to bring that up and remind them of that here next time I see him. And I know there is a real connection between you two. Have you collaborated on a TikTok video yet, or no?
No, not yet. I wouldn't. We're very COVID safe. We don't need to get anywhere near.
Have you guys?
Has Jimmy and I?
Yeah.
Never. No, that will never happen. Okay. All right. And Jimmy knows that will never happen. He and I will never collaborate on any video, much less a TikTok video.
Coach, what if I was a TikTok guy back in school? Would you have done something with me or still no?
Oh, I don't know. Probably. I don't know. It's really not my thing, right? I mean, I got pushed to do this social media bit in a uniform, and that was way outside my comfort zone. Way outside. So I don't know if I'd be doing any TikTok videos.
Coach, I used to say that you looked like Brad Pitt, and now you're acting. I mean, you were just becoming 2020 for Coach Holtmann is the Brad Pitt year.
Well, I appreciate it. You got to have a backup plan, right?
Well, there were a lot of people that wanted to give you an Oscar after that performance. It really was hilarious. Like, seriously.
Well, as you guys know, like, I get no credit for that. That's Kyle Davis on our staff and Joe Gemma, who are like, hey, let's do this. And we've added some new social media people, and I'm glad it was well received. It was lighthearted, fun. We could all use that right now.
Absolutely. Let's talk about some more guys on the team. Obviously, that's why people are tuning in and listening. Got a lot of injuries that are a little up in the air to the public. I know Musa is back on the court now, correct?
He is. Yes.
Justice is full go as well.
Justice has been that way, really, as you guys know, probably, for a good couple months. Yeah.
And then that leaves out the graduate transfer, Seth Townsend. Everyone's excited about, Columbus boy. Any updates on him and his health?
He's starting to pick up some more live action in practice. I still think listen, at the end of the day, this is a long-term look at all these guys, even Musa, who's been out for a while. I'm not certain what the early part of this season will look like for him. He's just recovering and getting back to full go. I think Seth's, whether it's a few weeks or a month, I don't want to put a timetable on it. He's making great progress. He's anxious to play. And when the time's right and when it fits our team, we're going to slowly work him back. But we need to make sure that our medical staff is on board with it. And I know he's anxious. I do know that he's put in a lot of work. Seth has put in a lot of work, as has Musa, to rehab.
Luckily, they both get an extra 7 years from this year, so there's no harm in taking your time. I want to talk about Justice because you recently called him the most athletic guy in the team, and I took offense to that, but I'm not on the team. But you also called me the most athletic player on the team when I was in school, and that was a joke. So are you being sarcastic about Justice or serious about Justice?
Yeah, yours was a clear joke / oversight. Justice has tested out. As we do an NBA combine here. Last year we did it with the same people that actually do the combine testing there in Chicago. And last year, Justice tested out as our best athlete as well. I believe it was him and DJ that were our best athletes that tested out as our best athletes. And this year he tested out as our best athlete again. So, I get those numbers from Q. That's a good thing. Now we've got to see that athleticism be put into action here.
Because as we know, being the most athletic guy on the team puts a target on your back. I didn't get to display the athleticism.
Yeah, that's right.
So
no doubt.
I have a feeling that he'll have more of an opportunity to showcase his athletic feats that maybe I didn't get to, and that's okay. I'm okay with that.
Well, hopefully his coach won't hold him back like yours did at the tail end of your career.
Yeah, exactly. What a joke that was. I'll never forgive him for that.
Coach, I think a role that Joey definitely would have played if he was on this team. I'm curious who's kind of been like the vocal leader when you guys couldn't all get together and be in the gym. Who kind of kept everyone together? And if it was multiple people, great. Just curious if anyone took the lead with that.
Well, it's interesting. It's a really good question because we are still, and I think, searching for that a little bit. CJ has a strong voice with this group. Dwayne is naturally really voracious. Like, he talks, loquacious, I should say. He loves to talk. And I think we're still trying to figure out who's going to provide that for this group, because Joey will tell you, the one thing I said about Caleb, you heard him every practice. Now, you didn't hear Dre as much. You felt Dre, but you didn't hear him as much. But you heard Caleb every day in practice. So I do think we're still seeking to find that a little bit. Obviously, CJ, Kyle's got to grow in that area. EJ, Justice got to continue to get better in that area. That constant voice that you have is a part of leading. And I still think we're trying to figure that out a little bit.
Now, as you move into, the first game, what are the expectations for those? I think I know the answer, but for those Ohio State fans that are listening and they're getting excited about the season, what, as a coach, are you looking for from the team out of that first game? Maybe it's not X's and O's, obviously, but what are the non-negotiables that are coming out of this first game?
I think in a lot of ways, this is definitely one of the hardest openers we're going to have for a variety of reasons. You're playing an opponent from a really good league who's got a lot of new players, an athletic group who's can clearly come in and win the game and test you in a lot of ways. So I think doing that with a new group, with a bunch of new guys, either in new roles or returning guys in new roles, and then some new guys, makes it a great challenge. So what we're looking for is really our basic stuff here. Can we play really hard? Can we be tough and physical? Can we play together? Can we follow a game plan? And then we'll need to make some adjustments, knowing that we'll have to adjust to the people that they have that we've not had a chance to see yet on film due to their new players. Whether it's a JUCO kid who maybe you've seen film on, but not at this level, or a situation where you've got some high school players. So I think in a lot of way it presents a tremendous challenge. And I'm excited about it. And I know our guys are excited to start the season on Wednesday.
So in years past, you've definitely brought in, some, whether it's grad transfers or just transfers in general, that have made big impacts on your team. For a guy like Jimmy told us that he thought it was very valuable that you actually not only saw him play, but played against him, coached against him. Was that something that when you were, making your decision, reaching out to players, stuff like that, is that something that was ingrained in your mind? Like, we played against this kid, he's a good player?
It helped. Initially we had gotten a call from a contact that he knew, that just mentioned that he was going to be interested in potentially transferring, and then it ended up happening. So we reflected back on our game and watched our game with him once we got that call, and he played well against us. He shot it well and made a couple threes and played well. They played well, as you remember. It came down to a final shot. I think in a lot of ways that helped. Jimmy's got to look at this year as like a bonus year in a lot of ways. He wasn't going to play, doesn't need to put a lot of pressure on himself. He's got to learn what playing at this level looks and feels like on a consistent basis. Fellas, as you know, this is the best league in the country. This is the best college basketball league in the country. It's the deepest. It'll be that way again. So it'll be good for guys like him to kind of have this year help him as he moves on the next year.
Coach, a couple more questions. We appreciate your time, as always, obviously. And as you know, this won't be nearly your last appearance. But are there fans allowed at games, even family? I heard no. Is that a definite no for the whole year?
Yeah, that is a no as of now. I feel disappointed. I feel disappointed for our college football, for our Buckeye football families who were probably en route for last week's game and couldn't make it here or weren't allowed to be here. But I think with us, listen, there's no complaining. I feel bad for our parents, but it's in the best interest. That's the directive we've been given by the university. We support that. Perhaps there'll be a change here, and whether it's weeks or months. We have a 2-semester sport, as you know, so at some point, hopefully, there'll be a change in that, and it'll be safe enough for parents to return. But no, like my wife, daughter, not coming. No one's coming. It'll be a really sterile environment, and that's just I think for us, that's the way it's going to be. It's going to feel like a scrimmage. It's going to come down to execution, and all the games are, and who plays better on that given night.
Follow-up question: is media there?
I've not asked that question, and I don't know. It's not been at the top of my list in terms of questions to ask Gene, but we'll find out soon enough here. I do think that I believe media has come to football games, but I'm not sure.
Just thinking of different ways for me to get in the stadium. That's all.
Well, I think we'll talk about that off air. We'll find a way.
Good.
I think the saying for this season should be Ohio State basketball. The only thing you're catching here is losses. I think that would be a great saying for the season.
tweet that after every win or what? That's it.
Yeah, maybe we should tweet that because we don't want you to get in any trouble or people think you're not being sensitive to the situation. So we'll handle that saying.
Or we'll just tell Joe. We'll just tell Joe G that, and he'll run with it as he does, in whatever way is best.
That's right.
So last thing I got, you mentioned that it may happen where you gotta, make a call to a team over here, make a call to a team over there. I am begging that if the opportunity presents itself, to please call my alma mater, the Missouri Tigers, and schedule a matchup because I've been waiting since I went to Mizzou almost 6 years ago now for the matchup. It almost happened one time in the NCAA tournament, but Mizzou lost. You guys took care of business, but Mizzou lost.
I don't think I knew, Andrew, that was your alma mater.
That is my alma mater. It's a fantastic journalism school. Coach Martin's got the boys ready for a great season. I can give you the inside scoop. I can tell you everything you need to know.
It is a great journalism school. I've heard that from a number of people. I didn't know that until you hear about so many people that have went there for journalism. Yeah, you know what? We're open to playing anybody. We are open to play, literally open to playing anybody, particularly if a game gets taken away from our guys, because that's really what it's about, is our guys at this time playing games because they want to play games. So I will try to provide every opportunity we can for our players to play games, whether that's a team like Missouri or another team. I'm open to anybody.
Coach, my last question, how we end every interview. Do you have any questions for us?
How have the last 6 months been for you guys?
Crazy. As you know, I moved back to Columbus in the middle of the pandemic, which is super, super fun. It's been a great time here in my apartment by myself. But I mean, it's been a time to obviously focus on different things. We've really ramped up Drive the Lane and also the TBT stuff that we're doing. So it's been a blessing in disguise. Obviously, I'm a very positive guy, so
you are.
I'm going to choose to focus on the positive side of it. I mean, it stinks for a lot of people, and it stinks for us too. But I've been fortunate enough to have, knock on wood, no health scares myself or any of my immediate family members or anything like that. So just trying to take the positives from every single day, focus on each day as you taught me so well, and control what I can control. So I mean, it's been all right.
Mom and Papa Lane doing well?
They are all good. My mom was a little bit nervous after the football game yesterday, but she's recovered since then.
She loves her Buckeyes. Love them.
That is an understatement.
What a beautiful family, that's for sure.
So for me, I heard there might be an open spot at backup point guard. So I lost a whole bunch of weight and I'm ready to go, but it seems like you got that settled with Jimmy. So never mind.
Can you dribble, Andrew? Can you dribble?
I can bring it up if no one's picking me up full court. How's that?
We call point guards like that. When we look at them in scouting, we're like, he can get the ball from point A to point B. When you're saying that about a point guard, that really means he can't dribble. He's got no wiggle to his game. That sounds like that's you.
That is definitely me.
He lost all the wiggle and jiggle, Coach. That's what was really good about the past 6 months.
Yeah, now I'm Caleb 2.0.
Good for you. Yeah, how much?
Like 40-ish, 45. So I've been grinding. Yeah.
Well done. Good for you.
Yeah, and I took all his weight, Coach. So don't worry. I was talking to Moose yesterday, and I asked him about the bod pod and how everything was going. He's like, "Yeah, we test more than ever now." And I was like, "The only thing that I don't miss about Ohio State basketball is the bod pod. I would go back and do all the workouts to get to play on the court and put on the jersey, but just do not test my body fat."
As long as Q is here, that bod pod will be in place. That is his baby.
Oh, man. Coach, well, we appreciate your time as always. We obviously will be watching super, super close all year. And, there's no bigger fans than the two dudes that are in here right now. So we can't wait. Thanks again for coming on. We always love it.
Yeah, much appreciated, guys. Love your show. Joey, tell the family I said hello. Obviously love your family. So enjoy the show and look forward to staying in touch, guys. Be well.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. See you guys.